Anele and the club on 947. 947 loves you.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Oh my word, can I tell you, my newsreader this morning, when I told him that I'm speaking to you, he says, you know a girl can act when she can act in the trailer.
Oh, guys, bakit?
Tell me what went through your mind when you watched that trailer.
I was, because Barry, has been sharing stuff with me. I was in absolute awe. Because, we shoot out of sequence, you're in the chaos, you're in the mix, but to see it finally come together with the sound, with the editing, the way in J, I was in absolute awe, but also it made me that much more excited for everyone to see it.
Yes. And I mean, we were very excited when we saw it. And I suppose as excited as we were when I first saw you in Saints and Sinners, and I remember tweeting, yo, that Thuso girl is an Oscar waiting to happen. And I mean, do you feel like you are closer to it?
I don't know, because again, it's an Oscar is a nice thing to have, but it's not a motivator for me. It's not why I'm doing this. It's how am I being my best at all times? Is my director happy? Have we served the story and the character as best as we can? And then everything else, will handle itself, honestly speaking.
In one interview, you said that when you did one or two roles, like your first two roles, you thought you were almost lucky that you got it right. So then when you were going into the next role, you were like, yeah, now let's see if I can really act, right? Do you still feel lucky, or have you proven to yourself that, this is not your first rodeo?
I don't know if I'll ever prove to myself, because even in watching the show, I was like, oof, you could have done that better, but I know that working with this character, with the amount of research that I had to do in preparation for it, I had to step up. I didn't have a choice but to step up. But then also working with Uperi, who was constantly, affirming that he trusts me, that even in our audition, he had pulled me in all directions. We did the audition scenes like over and over and over again. And he had told me that he simply wanted to see my range and if I could sustain the character. So that having gotten the role meant that he was happy with what he saw and he trusted what it is that I could do on the floor. So it's a step in the right direction, but I don't know for strict Thuso if I'll ever feel like, yeah, I have figured it out now. But I think that there's joy in that. There's room for growth, because I feel like if you feel like you've arrived, and then that's the end.
That's it. Yeah. That's as good as you're ever going to be. Well done.
Exactly.
Well done.
Exactly.
So I want to take strict Thuso to grade 10 when she discovered drama. But wait, drama was her relaxed subject. She was
a relaxing subject.
This is when I like, have a nap. Right? Then drama bites you. But before that, you wanted to go into, is it dermatology?
Dermatology, yeah.
Dermatology. There we go. That's the word.
Yeah.
So that dermatology passion, do you see itself coming through every now and then in your life now?
So I think in having done biology, in school, I really fell in love with it, the anatomy of the body, to the point that even when I had to apply to university, I applied for drama and physiotherapy now, and not even dermatology, because I fell in love with the human body and I wanted to explore it more. And the one thing that I really like that Amanda, who was the director of Isthunzi, said to me once, because I'd spoken to her, I think, about something that is out of my line of work. And she said, the beauty of acting is that you can be anything you want to be. It's a matter of getting the role. So even in exploring your dermatologies, your biologies, it's a matter of finding the right character who will allow me to live that dream in that moment.
So you also said you prayed a lot for your roles, right? And every time you pray, something manifests. What are you praying for right now? Besides 1 million streams and billions of streams on Amazon for this thing, what are you praying for?
With this particular project, I really pray that, people gain healing from the story itself, right? That there is a positive and tangible change when it comes to the conversations and thus the trajectory of the Black body moving forward. But I also pray, that people understand the masterpiece that Barry Jenkins has created for us, from production design to costumes to art to lighting to sound to
Story to
to
story.
story. The
Yeah.
actors, my castmates are brilliant, guys. It's like it can be done. Like as a whole, this. I remember after having watched it, I messaged him and I said, Barry, in film school, we had to watch The Birth of a Nation by D.W. Griffith. We had to watch Our Citizen Kane by Orson Welles because, these were productions that made a change or a difference in the film industry. And I said to him, honestly, the Underground Railroad has to be put in school curriculums and film school curriculums because of what you guys did with it. It is a massive piece of artwork that I feel like people need to be able to interrogate beyond the conversation that comes with the story itself, the subject matter itself, but
Yeah.
how it was put together is absolutely mind-blowing.
So I was watching a Colin Whitehead interview. He's the author of the book, obviously, of this masterpiece that you speak of. And he said, and he was reading from a page in this interview. And there's a line that hit me, was like, is the only thing that connects us is our Blackness, right? And because the South African story and the American story when it comes to slavery lives so parallel to each other, did you find that easier or more difficult in your research in applying yourself as a Cora? Your role is it Cora? Yes.
So for me, coming into it, I realized that I had a lot of unlearning to do in order to learn the actual truth. Because what we know as South Africans is limited to what the media has put out there, because now, Kona, it's like, in school, they glaze through certain topics. It's like, okay, we've covered it, but they don't actually let you understand what it means and its implications in reality. And so what we see in media is something that has been framed through the white gaze and lens, which we know has its own agenda. And so I had to do a lot of unlearning before like fully investing in the learning process and the preparation process for the character. And the one thing that I was grateful for, and because Barry sent me a lot of material to go through, but he also sent me audio testimonials that I could hear. And Anele, the former enslaved people spoke an English so broken, contrary to what we see in Hollywood. An English that is so broken that you could go to South Africa today, go to the rural areas or a township, that is how they speak English. And so for me, it ceased being this African American story, but it became a story about Africans in America and drew the story that much closer to home. And I felt like I am telling my people's story. It just so happened that we weren't taken to America. We are in South Africa. We are dealing with apartheid, but this could have been my story at any given day.
At the drop of a hat.
You understand? Exactly.
That's why you said that you feel like this role healed parts of you.
Yeah, so Ukora, what I found in now preparing for Cora herself, mentally, emotionally, physically, and just spiritually, I could draw a lot of parallels between myself and the character, which I hadn't, from the jump. I felt very connected to the story and to Cora, but in now developing her, I found that this is a girl struggling with feelings of rejection, of abandonment, of great loss, amongst other things, and how she has now framed herself in this world. She has policed herself into receiving and giving herself in the world in a particular way. And in walking with her, I realized that that is what happened with me, because I had lost my mom, at a very young age. And when I lost her, I didn't understand what death was. So I felt abandoned, and I felt this huge sense of loss that I then carried with me in life, keeping people at arm's length, not forming attachments because anything can happen. And for all I know, tomorrow I form an attachment and then tomorrow you die. I had that very hard attitude towards life. And so in walking with her, in playing her, I healed greatly to the point where I remember when I arrived in Savannah, Georgia in 2019, I had a dream about my mother for the very first time in 24 years. And in the dream, I literally had walked into my apartment in Savannah and she had looked at me glowing, beautiful. And she had said to me, everything is going to be all right. And then working with Barry, who then is such a generous director and is so collaborative, he said to Aaron and I had made some sort of offer in a scene. I can't remember what the scene was, that he went and he changed a part of the script. That time, he didn't know that I'd had a dream about my mother at the time. But it's now in episode 8, and he writes a scene with Caesar and Cora, which is this moment of great closure that Cora didn't know that she needed, that unfolded as a dream. So it mirrored exactly what had happened to me. And I remember I read that part of the script when he changed it and I cried. And I messaged him and I said, Barry, you're making a mess because of what he was doing. Damn you, Barry. And I remember when we shot that scene, literally afterwards, different crew members, cast members were telling me that everybody behind the scenes had been crying because they wept because of what that scene did, And so for me, I was like, I am healing, the crew is healing, and I can only hope that people who watch this and experience this will receive the same type of healing for different things, because we've suffered different losses, we've suffered different pains and different traumas. And so I really do hope that parts of them will be touched and feel like I see you, I hear you, and you're not alone in this.
So I need to wrap up and let you go, but I just want to say, 2 more things. One is, if you're going to say, damn you, Barry, then we must say, damn you, Amazon. Look at this brilliant mess you are making. Damn you, Amazon. Right? And speak of Amazon, have you met Jeff Bezos yet? Oh, it's not part of the deal.
No, he's too high there. He's very high. Not for me, not yet. But he will meet me after Underground Railroad comes out. He will just say, can we have a conversation? Yes, let's. I'm joking.
I love it. Listen, I'm going to fire 5 words at you. I'm going to give you a word. You tell me the first thing that comes to your mind, all right?
Okay.
Okay, first one, Viola Davis.
Woman King.
Saints and Sinners.
Denny Miller.
Emmy Awards.
Oh my gosh. South Africa.
Okay. Beauty.
My sister.
And finally, currency.
It's the dollar.
The dollar.
We're making the dollars now.
Listen, I'm so excited. I know this is going to be a masterpiece, and you're phenomenal. I've always thought you were phenomenal from when you.
Thank you.
And just, we've loved you forever, and I love that Amazon has done this, and I love that. I think there's a big relationship with you and Amazon, and we look forward to seeing more of you. And thank you so much, man. You flying.
Thank you. It's so good to see you. It's so good to see you. Thank you. Bye.
Anele and the club on 947. 947. 947 loves you.